makinig, manood na sa teleradyo. Teleradyo, teleradyo Marcelo. Sa gitna ng mapulubot na panahon, magkahati sa kakakibat ay diskusyon. Sama-sama tayo, kahit magkalayo. Sa programang ito, tiyak ang pagkatuto. Teleradyo, teleradyo Marcelo. Teleradyo, teleradyo Marcelo. Teleradyo, teleradyo Marcelo.
You learn, we learn at Teleradio.
And while our darkest moments test our dedication to read and write to become the best in all occasions,
Determination, a resolution to do our mission for your ambition.
I learn,
You learn, we learn at Teleradio. I learn, you learn, we learn at Teleradio.
and while our darkest moments test our dedication, your generation gets the best of education.
Good afternoon, Magdalenias. I'm Ma'am Daphne De Leon, and I'll be your iPad teacher for this session. You know, I'm so excited to for this session because it's not just gonna be me, but we're gonna have two more Teleradio teachers for this session. You're gonna meet them later on, but for now, do not forget to comment down your name and section. You just have to key it in there in the comment section. I would like to greet a few. So let me just check here. I forgot to open it. Wait for a second. Okay, let me just greet a few viewers. Marcelo. Okay, there you go. Okay, I would like to greet Australia, Francine, and Janelle Jessa Rose of STEM B. Hello there. Hi there, Jason Chrysostomo of 11 STEM G. Hello there. Hello to all of you guys. And to everyone who's watching us today. So please like and subscribe on our YouTube and Facebook page. Let us support Teleradio Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat Malulenyo.
Teleradyo, teleradyo Marcelo.
Alright, so now let us have a review of the third quarter. I'm inviting you guys to comment down your hashtag #ILearn for the whole quarter. So while I'm waiting for your answers, I have here the representatives of each strand to share with us their takeaways. And also we have here Ma'am Berna, okay, you can see her over there, to process our learnings. Okay, so let's start with the first representative or our representative of arts and design. So we have here, hello? Who's with us? Leo,
Yes po.
right? Hi,
Yes.
Leo. Leo, right?
Yes po.
Okay. So what is your hashtag #ILearn for the third quarter?
The hashtag I learned for the third quarter is me learning, selecting, and organizing information is like giving me a gift, a present that I would bring with me in my whole life. Because we receive information every day, and it is important for us to understand those information. The strategies in this lesson will help a lot in understanding the information that you might not understand at all. And I mean, my level of understanding is kind of low until I learned this lesson, which I'm very grateful of.
All
Receiving
right.
this kind of gift is one of the best gifts that I will bring with me until I grow up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. What can you say about that, Ma'am Berna?
Okay, I think that Leo, is that right, Leo?
Yeah.
Really appreciate
Yes
our
po.
discussion for that week. I think that is week number one, if I'm not mistaken. And our teacher broadcaster, there is Sir Lester. And that discussion really contains a lot of meaty ideas that the students can relate to. That's why, very good, Leo. That's a great job.
Okay, thank you so much, Leah. Good job on that. So let's go on to our ABM representative. So we have here Anthony. Hi,
Hi
Anthony.
everyone. Good day
Hello. From what section
everyone.
are you again?
I'm from 11 ABMB po.
ABMB. Who's your
Yes.
RWS teacher?
My RWS teacher is Ma'am Hilda Maganis po.
Oh, okay. All right. So what is your hashtag I learned for the third quarter,
Our
Anthony?
hashtag I learned for the third quarter of RWS is the evaluation of a written text based on their properties. So I learned that the properties to look for or to evaluate in a text are its organization, coherence and cohesion, language use, and mechanics. These properties will be helpful to us as a reader because when we are a reader, we need to know if the text that we are reading is well written or not. Also, this will help us as a writer because when we are writing a text, our information and ideas need to be well organized. And also, of course, our information and ideas needs to be related or relevant to each other. Plus, we need to use an appropriate language depending on the text. So maybe it is in informal or formal form. Lastly is we need to use proper mechanics. These are the grammars, proper use of pronouns, and others. Again, that's my I learned for the third quarter.
Wow, you learned a lot, Leo. That's so nice. It's not just being. By the way, we have here Ma'am Berna. I remember. Okay, so Ma'am Berna, what can you say about that?
Actually, Ma'am Daphne, I am the teacher broadcaster of that topic. That is for week number two. And very good that you really understand it because organizing our idea and having the coherence and cohesion of it must be very crucial in creating a text. And also knowing the different language use or how we use language in different ways and the different mechanics really suits the needs of our learners.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am, and also to Leo. Okay, so let's go on to our to the next representative. It's Russell of STEM. Hi there, Russell. Hello.
Hello po, ma'am.
Hello. How are you? I
I'm
forgot should
doing
be.
great po.
Okay, that's good to hear. Oh, what is your hashtag I learned for the third quarter?
And may hashtag I learned po from our teacher broadcasters, Ma'am Bernadette Calonso and Ma'am
Oh, that's
Isabel
nice.
Micaela Macale is the three types of claims. So if
Mm-hmm.
it is a statement on something that has existed, exists, or will exist in the future based on science or factual evidences, that is considered a claim of fact. If
Mm-hmm.
the claim calls for an action or proposes a solution or policy based on existing laws and regulation, then that is considered a claim of policy. And lastly, if the claim argues that something is good or bad, or that something is better over the other, then that is considered a claim of value. It is important to know these type of claims because each type focuses on different aspects of a topic. And um, for us to efficiently participate in an argument, it is beneficial or essential for us to know the type of claim that is being argued.
Okay,
Thank you
thank you
po.
so much, Russell. You're so good. Okay, what can you say about that, Ma'am Berna?
Actually, Russell, your inputs were very great. And a claim is a statement that is not considered or accepted by all. That's why it is very important that we know the facts and opinions based on what we have read or what we have seen in different contexts. Okay? So it may be unverified or controversial to a certain degree. That's why it is usually related to one side of the issue. And that claims is really help us to develop our written text. Okay, and very good. You also know the claim of fact, claim of policy, and claim of body discussed by Ma'am Lorna and Ma'am Isabel.
Okay, so there, thank you so much, Russell and Ma'am Berna. Okay, I skipped on you, Cha. I'm sorry.
Opo. Good day po,
Okay,
ma'am.
but I bet you have your hashtag I learn, right?
Yes po. My hashtag I learned for the third quarter is for the whole quarter po. And this hashtag is hashtag boss
Mhm.
of stress because for me po, we are the only boss that can control our responsibilities, our stresses. So that is
Wow.
my hashtag I learned po for the whole quarter. So I am here po to share my takeaways from our previous lesson, explicit and implicit claims, discussed by Ma'am Bernadette Calonzo po. So, ayan, we learned po na explicit claim or ideas that are directly stated in the text. Implicit claims or ideas implied or suggested. These are what the author is implying. And reading between the lines may include the hidden meaning of the text. Now, let's
Yeah.
jump po dun sa types ng claims. So, claim of fact, claim of value, claim of
Okay.
policy. Claim of fact po yung makes claim that it is debatable using factual evidence.
Yeah.
A
Mm-hmm.
claim of value po, it argues that something is good or bad. It
Mm-hmm.
emphasizes which condition is better, which condition is important. Claim of policy, uh, it argues something should or should not be done. These
Mm-hmm.
are presented with modals such as should or must. In
Yeah.
determining explicit and implicit information po, you are also identifying the claim of an author. It is if it is not reasonable and it can't be supported with evidence, you can't make it a stand. It can't be called a claim. So that is what I have learned po from the third quarter. Thank you so much po.
Thank you so much, Cha. Actually, all of the claims should be debatable, right, Cha?
Yes
Okay,
po.
that's good. Okay, so Ma'am Berna, what can you say about that?
Seems like Cha really understand our lesson from week number 1 up to week number 8.
Very good.
Inuwi niya na lahat. Ayan. Talagang
Very good, Cha.
siya. And
Thank you
we're good siya
po.
sa explicit and implicit information because we really need to understand it so that we can have the point of view of the author, whether it is an implicit or implicit information, because it is very difficult to understand implicit information because it is not stated.
Yeah.
Okay? We really need to use our common sense, our critical thinking to be able to understand the author's point of view.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Berna. And last but not the least, we have the representative of TVL Strand. We have Christine. Hi, Christine.
Hi po.
Hello. From what is your specialization?
Programming po.
Programming. Oh, do you have a takeaway from our third quarter sessions?
My hashtag I learned for the third quarter is the context of text, the development discussed by Sir John Lester De Leon and you, Ma'am Daphne.
San Lester
Discussed
Zamora and Ma'am Daphne.
De Leon.
Okay.
It seems that every text is a product of intertextuality, since writers adapt others' concept and and add their own twist. It come up with a new concept, while hypertextuality sound very familiar to machines programming is my specialization. We can use CTRLK uh, to make hyperlinks, but as you mentioned last week, as long as we connect one information to another, even if we don't use computer commands nor it codes, it is a hypertextuality.
Wow, it's really connected to your strand, programming. Okay, but it's good that you really learn from our discussion. I remember we have again Ma'am Berna. Ma'am Berna, what can you say about that?
Very good, Christine, because in textuality, we doesn't really need gadgets or
Ito.
media to do it because we have the linear and non-linear hypertext. Okay, it is reading and book and reading via soft copies or ebooks. Okay? And in Intertext, you can really enjoy this thing, most especially in your strand TBL programming, because this will really help you enhance your creativity skills. Very good,
Yeah,
Christine.
very good, Christine. And to all of you, of course, this will be very beneficial to all of you, us actually, to all of us. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much to all of you. It feels so good knowing that you learn from us. Okay, because every session is really a challenge to all of us here. Eh? So there, thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you po.
Thank you
Thank you so
po.
much
Bye.
po.
Your answers. Okay, so let me see if you answered. Did you write your I learn hashtag I learn in the comment section? I cannot see any answers there. Why? What did you learn in the third quarter? No? No answer? But I guess they actually our representatives actually gave us enough learnings here, right? We reviewed enough uh, by the representatives of each strand. So never mind. Let's just go on to this one. So let's have the time check. It's 3:24 p.m. So, but before we go and proceed to our next lesson or to our lesson proper, let's read these excerpt. Okay. So let me see here. Where's the excerpt? Okay. Let me call on a student or two maybe so that they can read our text. Okay. So let's have here. Hello? Hello? Let me just contact them. Let me call on to Lalaine. Hello? Are you there? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi there. Okay, can
Hello
you,
po.
from what section are you again?
Yung C po.
Humes?
Grade 11 Humanities and Social
C.
Science. Section E po.
Ah, E. Okay. So, Lalaine,
Yes
can you
po.
read for us the answer, please?
Okay po. Let's read. We encourage children to act stupidly, not only by scaring and confusing them, but by boring them, by filling their days with dull, repetitive tasks that make little or no claim on their attention or demands on their intelligence. Our hearts leap for joy at the sight of a room full of children, all slugging away in some imposed task. And we
Okay, so thank you so much, Lalaine. So now let me call on another student. Bye-bye, Lalaine.
thank you
Okay,
po,
how
ma'am.
about William? Hello, William. Are you there?
Hello
Can
po.
you continue reading? Okay, can you continue, please?
Yes po. So, are all the more pleased and satisfied if someone tells us that children don't really like what they are doing. We tell ourselves that this drudgery is good preparation for life, and we fear that without it, children would be hard to control. But why must this busy work be so dull? Why not give tasks that are interesting and demanding?
Okay, thank you so much, William. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye, William. Now I have a question for all of you, our viewers. Okay, so here's the question. Next slide, please. Okay, so there. Here's my question. What questions? This is really my question. What questions would you ask about the excerpt as a critical reader? Okay, so we have to be critical when we are reading something. Okay, in this um, session or in this subject. This is RWS. Okay, you have to comment down your answers. I'll be reading them later. While I'm waiting, I would like to thank Shireen Mangaran of STEM D and the whole STEM F because I included their videos in our opening billboard. If you watched early, if you started the program, we have the I learn, you learn, we learn at Teleradio. If you watch that video, I really like to thank the all the people behind the making of such video. So thank you so much. Okay, so now let me see if they answer something. At this one, okay, so actually Mark Hernandez gave us his I learn or his learnings for the third quarter. Let me just read it, okay? Anyway, there's no answer yet for this question, okay? So let me read it. In the third quarter of reading and writing skill, I learned about the different types of claims: context, intertextuality, and hypertextuality. Okay, so there. Okay, another I learned from Carril de Mesa, explicit and implicit information, claim of facts. Oh, there's a lot. Claim of facts, explicit, clear, no room for confusion, and everything is directly stated. Implicit, implied, but not plainly or directly expressed. Claim, not considered accepted at all. May be unverified or controversial to a certain degree. Claim of fact, asserts that an idea has existed, exists, or will exist and verified. Okay, so now did you answer my question? I cannot see any answer. Okay, still learnings. Okay, but anyway, while we are waiting by you are now tuning in live at Teleradio Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat Malolenyo. The time now is 3:29. It's 30 minutes already. Okay. And later on, actually, you're gonna have two more teachers, okay? Teleradio teachers. You're gonna see them later on. So let me see. I learned. Okay. Nobody answered, but Sir Lester, our next Teleradio teacher, will check your answers. Okay, Sir Lester, ha? Okay, so for now, let me call on our You Learn teacher for this session. I have here John Lester De Leon, John Lester Zamora. Hello there, sir.
Good afternoon. I am John Lester Zamora, and I will be with you for the next 15 minutes to discuss our lesson for today. To start, in the next slide, you will see our learning competency. So, our learning competency is the skill that you must master for this session. Now that we are officially kicking it off with the fourth and final quarter of this school year. This is it. So listen very carefully. I know some of you may think that they have not learned anything for the entire school year, but with this lesson, we will clarify certain things about the nature of learning. Because to read is to think, and to think is to learn, or is related with learning. So here it is. For this session, you have to be able to explain critical reading as a form of reasoning. All right. However, before we begin, I would like to direct your attention to the following question. Why do we need reason? I will ask this again later when we are done with the lesson proper. So pay attention. Again, why do we need reason? Lots of students, and not only students, in the past have always made excuses about giving reasons in general. Sometimes even non-students have this attitude where they think that they do not have to explain anything because it's easy to drop a sentence, it's easy to drop a claim and not explain it. Because in that case, you don't have any responsibility of proving yourself. They think that things can be understood with common sense or that some ideas are self explanatory. Do you agree with these things? Do you agree that sometimes you do not have to explain yourself, especially in academics? Let us clarify everything later and answer this question. To begin, let us define what critical and critical reading as a form of reasoning means. So here it is. Critical. Critical, according to Oxford Dictionary, involves the objective analysis and evaluation of an issue to form a judgment. This is, of course, different from critical condition. When you hear the term critical, you think of someone being described in a very dire circumstance, like someone in a coma. Is that how your grades are? Critical? I know some people whose grades need to be resuscitated or revived. Shout out to my students not passing first quarter requirements. Anyway, that is a different kind of critical. Critical, in this sense, means that when we read, we do not depend on our initial reaction, and we must look for evidence to form judgment. I remember this issue about a talent of GMA, I think, not doing her part in their thesis or research project. Then I see students, that is your mistake for adding me as a Facebook friend. I see students bashing the said person without looking for evidence. And that is an example of non-critical. If you read something about it, it's non-critical reading. But in extension, it's non-critical thinking as well because reading is related with how you think. So you just take what you read and you react without thinking if there is something more to it. Do not get do not get me wrong. Sometimes it is all right to judge. Judgment is all right. That is how we make decisions. When someone is dangerous, for example, we judge them as a danger to others and we make actions according to those dangers, like putting them in prison or in a rehabilitation facility. It's the same with reading. You don't simply agree or believe everything you read just because it's there. Moving on, the next term that we have to clarify is reasoning. So, according to Oxford again, reasoning is the action of thinking about something in a logical and sensible way. That means you do not commit reasoning errors. You do not attack someone's personality or person when you are supposed to be only addressing their arguments. You do not misrepresent someone's words and pretend that that is their argument. In reading, it is important to follow whether the author's words support or whether their evidence support their claim. Last semester, I had this problem. Well, of course, since you have to learn, it's always a problem with people and the evidence they provide, especially in essays. Sometimes people give you a fact that is used as evidence, but the evidence does not support the opinion at all. It's just a fact that is not connected. There is a gap in logic or in reasoning. That is why we have to address this. So, as members of the academic community, and not only people coming here for attendance, so you must be a critical reader. To non critical readers, texts provide facts. That is it. A non critical reader might read a history book to learn the facts of the situation or discover that an accepted interpretation of those events is what they will uh, accept. This is how false information can be spread. By reading something online and not questioning whether this is true or not, you tend to spread that misinformation. So this is just as bad as reading something and believing that because it is on the internet, it must be true. This is the reading level of elementary students. And of course, we have to be at that point at a certain time. But of course, we have to climb up with regards to our level. Let us compare that with the critical reader. To the critical reader, any single text provides but one portrayal of the facts, one individual's take on the subject matter. If you read philosophy, or if you read about philosophy, just this week I had a former student ask me about Immanuel Kant's view on ethics. If you understand Kant, you will know that his take on what is right and what is wrong is only one perspective, and there are others to consider when you are going to apply that type of morality. This is why people in debates do not like those who simply use quotes from somewhere and pretend that those quotes are absolute truth. You have to somehow show the reasoning behind the quote that you stated. You do not say that it is wrong to murder because this person said so. You say it is wrong to murder because it takes away the life of a person forever against their will, therefore depriving them of experiences and events that they should have lived in, or some other reasoning that you might come up with. In short, a critical reader can follow an author's reasons and not take their words as gospel truth. A critical reader might read the same work in history, for example, to appreciate how a particular perspective on the events and a particular selection of facts can lead to a certain kind of understanding. So, moving on. At the base level, the very first level of reading, where it is non critical, the reader is satisfied with recognizing what a text says and restating the key remarks. That's why I'm not actually shaming you for being a non-critical reader, because you have to be a non-critical reader first in order for you to become a critical reader, because that's how it goes. You have to understand first what the text says and then move forward or move up. If you find a person who cannot make an opinion based on what they have read, that is because usually that is non-critical reading. I don't want to call them non-critical readers because people will improve, of course. They are satisfied with what the text says. But sometimes people do not progress from non-critical reading because I think this is in line with the belief that the author already knows what they are doing and we should somehow believe them. However, authors and any other person is prone to making mistakes, of course, because they are only human and they will not always have sound logic and reasoning. So, as critical readers, you have to see through that because you're critical readers, supposedly. Socrates once said that the only true wisdom is in knowing that you know nothing. I like that quote very much, not because I am satisfied with knowing nothing. Do not get me wrong. Being ignorant is not a bad thing. Knowing nothing is not a bad thing. However, acting like you are not ignorant or stopping the pursuit of knowledge, of trying to know things, of trying to study despite being ignorant is what is bad. That's why, as critical readers, you have to not be satisfied with what the text says alone. You have to go deeper. So, critical reading, in what we will talk about, goes two steps further. The first step, after you have recognized what a text says, you have to notice what the text does by asking the following questions. Is it offering examples? If it is not, why should you believe it? Is it arguing? Is it appealing for sympathy? Or trying to make you act? Should you act on what the text wants you to do based on what is said? Is it making a contrast to clarify a point? Or is there a comparison between two things? Once you have figured out what the text goals are, you move on to the next step, which is to find out what the text means based on the earlier analysis of what it says and what it does or what its goals are. So, to sum that up, we have three stages in critical reading. First, you recognize what a text says. That involves restatement. This involves your ability to paraphrase and summarize. If you have trouble paraphrasing and summarizing texts, you have a problem because that means you do not understand the text in the first place. Because that's one of the lowest uh, cognitive processes to simply understand. You cannot move to knowing the goal of the text if you cannot figure out what the text is saying in the first place. Again, I am not shaming you for being on this level if you are on this level because everyone starts at the bottom. However, if you pretend that you are not on this level or recognize that, or if you already recognize that you are on this level and you blurt out things like you are not you don't like to read, you're not a fan of reading, and you do not work to improve yourself so that you can get beyond this level, then you will have big problems in the future. Especially if you want to become a lawyer, especially if you want to become someone. Anyway, after recognizing what the text says, you have to recognize what the text's goal is. Is it merely informing? Is it arguing a certain point? You can see with you can see this with how the information is presented. If it is arguing, the text would take a side and defend that with evidence. If it is merely informing, it only presents information and does not usually make opinions that are debatable. Once you know what the text says and does, you can now interpret it using your own reasoning. Siddhartha Gautama, or the Buddha, once said that we must believe nothing, no matter where you read it or who said it, no matter if the Buddha has said it, unless it agrees with your own reason and your own common sense. This is the process of interpretation, the last step. So, to talk about why we have to undergo these three stages, we need to establish what the goals of critical reading are. Textbooks on critical reading commonly ask students to accomplish certain goals, which are, firstly, to recognize an author's purpose. Why did they write this? To inform, to persuade, to entertain, to criticize. Secondly, we do this to understand tone and persuasive elements. If recognizing purpose involves inferring a basis of choices of content and language, then recognizing tone and persuasive elements involves classifying the nature of language choices and why authors choose to say the words they use based on their goal or purpose. And finally, we need to be able to recognize bias through the three stages of critical reading. Recognizing bias involves classifying the nature of patterns of choice of content and language. So remember that bias does not equal being misinformed. Bias is not automatically bad. Bias is good, especially if it is supported and aligned with the author's goals and the author can defend their bias. So that's why you do not go to Rappler or GMA's comment section saying they are biased when you are reading an opinion piece or editorial piece because that's meant to be biased. That's meant to take a stand. But of course, there are certain objective ways to present even your bias. So that is if you read something aside from the headline or the caption. So yeah, remember that critical reading is not simply close and careful reading. It does not matter how careful you are with details when you can only understand what the text says and nothing else, like the author's goals. To read critically, you must actively recognize and analyze evidence upon the page or the text. That is why, in the next few minutes, I am going to give you the steps to become critical readers. So here are some steps for critical reading. The first one is to become part of the writer's audience. After all, authors design texts for specific audiences, and becoming a member of the target audience makes it easier to get at the author's purpose. So you have to think, for whom is this text written for? Is it for everyone? Is it for students? Is it for the youth? Then, as the reader, you get into that mindset. Next, prepare to read with an open mind. So, critical readers seek knowledge. They do not rewrite a work to suit their own personalities. So, you have to be careful not to intentionally misinterpret a work just because it doesn't suit your beliefs. I heard before, somewhere, I forgot where, that the mark of an educated person is when they can change their beliefs based on new information. And if they can entertain ideas without necessarily believing in them. So, for example, a critical reader may understand and even articulate the advantages of death penalty, even though they do not necessarily agree with it. Afterwards, you have to consider the title of the work. So that is number three rather. Consider the title of the work. This may seem obvious, but the title may provide clues to the writer's attitude, goals, personal viewpoint, or approach. This is as basic as noticing topic sentences and supporting sentences, which you have learned since maybe grade 4. After that, you have to make sure to read slowly. This is not because you naturally read slowly, but because you are being sure that you do not miss any details. Again, this appears obvious, but it is a factor in close reading. So by slowing down, you will make more connections with the text. For example, when I am reading for fun and for leisure, I can read a 200-page novel in just 1 to 2 hours in a jeepney ride. That is if I am only consuming the material for fun. If I want to be a critical reader, if I want to think, I will have to read slowly and stop myself from simply scanning and skimming if I really want to process things. Next, you have to use the dictionary and other reference words when you need them. If there is a word in the text that is not clear or is difficult to define in context, you have to look it up. This is essential, of course, if you do not want to misinterpret the text, especially when what you are reading is in a different time, such as the 19th century, where something plainly stated might mean something else based on the context. But then again, no one really wants to misinterpret a text. So it's better to be safe than sorry and look up the words that you do not know. So next, one more thing that you must remember is that you have to make notes. If you are not making notes right now, you are already making that mistake. So jot down marginal notes, underline and highlight. You may write down your ideas in a notebook or do whatever works for your personal taste. If you want to make uh, a web diagram, that's fine. Note for yourself the main ideas, the thesis, the author's main points to support the theory. So when you write notes, you give yourself the time to process ideas. Most people write notes so that they can have reviewers for exams, but when you personally write notes, you absorb information in a more effective manner where you can also figure out what the text does and means. So remember that you are only human. Even if you watch teleradio, if you do not make the effort to reflect on what is presented, then you would not be able to remember anything. So I learn, you learn, we learn is going to fail. You will naturally forget things. So it is up to you to remember what is important. I remember one time when I watched Reply 1988 and I took notes. I took notes because I was trying to impress this girl with my analysis. The matter is, I took notes because I was trying to have a deeper understanding of the show. Anyway, that girl will not watch this broadcast, so it does not matter if I mention this. And finally, this is very much optional. But if you are really looking to upgrade your critical reading skills, you may keep a reading journal. You can keep a random spare notebook and use it as a reading journal. So, in addition to note taking, it is often helpful to regularly record your responses and thoughts in a more permanent place that you can always consult. So, by developing a habit of reading and writing in conjunction as a working routine, both skills will, of course, naturally improve. And then you can look back and see how much you have improved based on your journal. And those are the suggested steps to observe critical reading as a form of reasoning. So remember the question I posed at the beginning of this lesson? I asked a while ago why we need reason. I need your answers, so comment them down below. Why do we need reason? Why are we even talking about this in the first place? So I'm looking through the comments. Ma'am Daphne said a while ago that I should read the I learned responses, but I did not. So I'm going to read it right now while waiting. So from Ira Constantino, I learned in the third quarter of RWS, I learned the different patterns of development in writing. I remember that too. The properties of a well-written text, the difference of explicit and implicit information, and the three types of claims. So, all right. I still don't see any answers. So, yeah, as long as you know why reason, I think you can already infer why we need reason as human beings and for you as students. So, answer them. That is all for my part. Uh, I am now turning you over to our next teacher, Miss Bernadette Calonzo.
Hello, grade 11 students. This is Ma'am Berna, and I will be joining you for the We Learn segment of our lesson today. I would like to thank Ma'am Daphne and Sir Lester for guiding us in discovering the importance of our topic today, which is critical reading as a form of reasoning. Okay? For sure, you have lots of takeaway from our discussion, so let us test and sharpen your minds now. So I prepared a set of questions, statements, logical questions, and abstract from different studies, and you just simply need to identify the correct answers from the following. Okay? You will be given 10 seconds to comment your answers on the comment section. Is that all right, grade 11 students? So here we go. So it seems like everything is clear, so let's start. For number one, it is
an act of giving statements for justification and explanation. A. Reading. B. Evaluating. C. Reasoning. And letter D. Reflecting. Again, for number one, it is an act of giving statement for justification and explanation. Letter A, reading. Letter B, evaluating. Letter C, reasoning. And letter D, reflecting. 10 seconds starts now. So I would like to greet my grade 11 students, which is the TVL 1, TVL 2, TVL 3, and TVL 5. Shout out to you, and I hope you're all watching, and I know that you can have different. Okay, time is up. So let's read the comment section. Okay. By the way, the correct answer is letter C, which is reasoning, because it is very important for us to justify our opinions or statements to explain it further. So I'm still looking for the answers from our grade 11 students. By the way, please like and subscribe on our YouTube and Facebook page, Teleradio Marcelo, ang tell-aralan ng bawat Malolenyo. And the time now is 3:59 p.m. Okay. So we have here an answer from the students, which is letter C. Okay, very good. So from Maureen Patayan, letter C. Russell James Balastige, letter C. Christian Vargas, Angel Bernardino, Alexandra, Patricia, and Niana, Janelle, and Dolores. Hello, Yori. They all answered letter C. Very good. So let us now move on with number 2. It means that a reader applies a certain process, models, questions, and theories that result in enhanced clarity and comprehension. It means that a reader applies certain process, models, questions, and theories that result in enhanced clarity and comprehension. For letter A, critical reading. For letter B, reasoning. For letter C, evaluating. For letter D, investigating. 10 seconds starts now.
10,
We
9,
have here
8,
different answers from grade
7,
11
6,
students.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay. For more fun and exciting learning, do not forget to subscribe, like, and share Teleradio Marcelo on Facebook and on YouTube. Here you can watch the lessons that you missed so that you can learn anytime and anywhere with Teleradio Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat Malolenyo. Okay? Time is up, and let's take a look on our comment section here. From Niana Teresa Cardenas, we need reason to improve our knowledge on a certain topic. Very good, Niana. This is such a very bright and diligent student. Okay. We have here different answers as well from Margot, from Nestle, Zandro, and Mara for number 1. Let's just wait for the answers in question number 2. Very good, James. Russell James Balastige. Letter A, critical reading from Shena and Sophia and Karina. Letter A. The correct answer is actually letter A. Very good, because some people claim that they really love reading, but you cannot be considered as a critical thinker if you do not apply those things in reading, just like what Sir Lester said earlier. Okay? Very good, grade 11 students from Lance, Pauline, Corny, Patricia, Joanne, Dolores, Miranda, or Maria Miranda, Jana, Joseph, Sam Joshua de la Cruz, Egan Luz, Lois Iranzo. Okay, very good, grade 11 students. You're such a very participative students from Marcelo H. Del Pilar National High School. Okay, to make it quick, here is number 3. It is an idea that is believed to be true or valid without positive knowledge. It is an idea that is believed to be true without or valid without positive knowledge. A. Critical reading. B. Reasoning. C. Evaluating. Or letter D. Judgment. I know that you can answer this because Sir Lester already talked about this earlier too. Okay.
10,
While we are
9,
waiting, by the
8,
way, you are now
7,
tuning in live
6,
at Teleradio
5,
Marcelo, ang
4,
talaralan ng
3,
bawat
2,
Manluleño. The time now
1,
is
0.
4:06 p.m. And we would like to thank every student, teacher, and administrator who have been part of what makes Teleradio Marcelo become a very successful telearalan. Okay, let's wait for the answers. Okay, time is up. The correct answer is letter D, judgment. Okay, when evaluating a certain text, this must be keenly observed to avoid confusion. Okay, because opinion is different from facts and theories or studies. Okay, so let's wait for their answer. Again, please like and subscribe on our YouTube and on Facebook page so that you can watch the missed lessons on, for example, you're not able to watch this lesson for today because you're at the hospital or you just simply need to do something. You can simply go to Marcelo H. Del Pilar National High School on YouTube so that you can watch it as soon as possible. Okay. So we have here answers from Moises Atienza, Giles Desbarro, Jana Crisel Reyes, Angel Bernardino, Aliana, Juliana, Christian, Russell, James, Maureen, Angel, Corny, Stephen, which is letter D, judgment. Very good. It seems like you really have lots of takeaways from Sir Lester's and from Sir Lester and Ma'am Daphne earlier. Very good, grade 11 students. Now we have here number 4. Okay, so this is somehow very confusing and you really need to read it and understand it logically. Okay, for number 4, Claire is Frank's daughter and Sarah's sister. Mirasol is Sarah's mother and Anne's daughter. Which of the statements below is definitely true? Again, Claire is Frank's daughter and Sarah's sister. Mirasol is Sarah's mother and Anne's daughter. Which of the statements below is definitely true? Okay, we have here letter A. Anne is Claire's mother-in-law. For letter B, Mirasol is Claire's mother. For letter C, Anne is Frank's godmother. And for letter D, none of the above. Again, Claire is Frank's daughter and Sarah's sister. Mirasol is Sarah's mother and Anne's daughter. Which of the statement below is definitely true? 10 seconds starts now.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay. Please like and subscribe on our YouTube and Facebook page. Teleradio Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat Maluleño. Okay, so we're still waiting for the answers because it is somehow difficult to see your answers, most especially if we have the live session, just like today. Okay? So time is up. The correct answer is letter D, which is none of the above. Okay? Because Claire and Sarah are siblings. However, we do not know whether they are full siblings or half sisters. Okay? Mirasol, Sarah's mother, might not be Claire's mother.
Therefore, Frank, who is Claire's father, might not be Sarah's father. That's why the answer is letter D. Okay. So we have here answers from Christian Vargas, letter B. Actually, all of them says it's letter B or letter C. So this is such a very tricky question or statement rather, because I think no one got the correct answer. But still very good grade 11 students. We really appreciate your participation on our session every week. And that is very helpful for us teachers who really wanted to teach you from face to face to online and modular modality. Okay? So let us now move on with number 5, and this is analogy. Again, you need to logically understand this. Okay? So we have here petal and then flower. Petal and then flower. For letter A, pen and paper. For letter B, engine, car. For letter C, cat, dog. And for letter D, ball, game. Again, this is an analogy. I know that you're very much familiar with this. Okay? So, petal, flower for number 5. Letter A, pen, paper. B, engine, car. C, cat, dog. Or letter D, ball, game. So 10 seconds starts now.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, kindly hit the heart button, Dalpilarians, if you're really enjoying our lesson for today. And you can also share this, our live session on Facebook or on YouTube so that other grade 11 students will benefit on our live session today. Okay? So we have different answers. Okay. Again, please like and subscribe on our YouTube and on our Facebook page, which is Marcelo H. Del Pilar National High School. Okay, that is our official Facebook and YouTube page. Okay. So from Moises Atienza, letter B. From Russell James, letter B. Christian Vargas, Sean, Karina, Juliana, Iles, Patrick, Dayanara, and other students also answers letter B. And by the way, the correct answer is letter B, because a petal is a part of the flower. In similar way, an engine is part of the car. Very good. Good work, Dalbilarians. Okay? So let us now have number 6. This is blood relations, just like the previous question earlier. Okay? So pointing to a photograph, a man said, I have no brother, and that man's father is my father's son. Whose photograph was it? Again, pointing to a photograph, a man said, I have no brother, and that man's father is my father's son. Whose photograph was it? For letter A, his son. For letter B, his own. For letter C, his father. And for letter D, his nephew. Again, pointing to a photograph, a man said, I have no brother, and that man's father is my father's son. Whose photograph was it? 10 seconds starts now.
10, 9, 8, 7,
Again,
6,
shout out to our very
5, 4,
hardworking
3,
teachers from
2,
11
1,
TVL 1,
0.
4, 5. Okay. So we have here an answer from actually there's a lot of answer coming from for number 5. We're still waiting for the answers. Okay. Again, while we are waiting, by the way, you are now tuning in live at Teleradio Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat Malolenyo. The time now is 4:12 p.m. and we would like to thank every students who were very participative for each session. Okay. So we have here from Moises, letter B, Russell James, Shanna, Christian, Corina, Jasmine, Stephen, letter B, and hello Dolores. You also answered letter B. From Gilbay, Alexandra, and Trixie, letter B. Okay, the correct answer actually is letter A. Because the narrator has no brother. So he is the only son of his father. And his father's son is he himself. Hence, the narrator is the father of the man in the photograph. So the man in the photograph is his son. Okay, so let's move on now with number 7. This is analyzing argument. Okay, thank you, grade 11 students. Again, for number 7, this is again analyzing argument. If you are a fitness walker, you don't need to go to a health gym. You also don't need any fitness equipment for workout. All you need is a pair of comfortable athletic shoes. This paragraph supports which of the following statements? A. Fitness walking is better than weight lifting. For letter B, walking outdoors provides more health benefit than walking indoors. And for letter C, fitness walking is an effective and convenient form of exercise. And for letter D, poorly designed shoes can cause foot injuries. Again, for number 7, if you are a fitness walker, you don't need to go to a health gym. You also don't need any fitness equipment for workout. All you need is a pair of comfortable athletic shoes. This paragraph supports which of the following statement? 10 seconds starts now.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
That's still okay,
3,
Shana.
2, 1, 0.
So very active students as well on our live broadcast, just like Maureen Patayan, Janelle Carpio, Liana. Actually, I'm still analyzing and remembering the names, sections, and advisors of those students because I wanted to give them some reward so that I can, or we, your RWS teacher, can thank all of your effort for actively participating on our broadcast. And for that, thank you very much. Okay, and also Russell James are such a very active student. So we have an answer here, letter C from Christian Vargas, letter B. So time is up. The correct answer is letter C. In this paragraph, the author is talking about the convenience of fitness walking. He is saying that fitness walking is a workout that does not need equipment and membership of a health gym. Okay. Okay, and for number 8, this is the last question. This is a letter series. That's why this is very easy to answer. Okay? For number 8, RQP ONM blank IHGFED. Find the missing letters. Again, RQP ONM blank IHGFED. Find the missing letters. This is very easy. For letter A, CDE. For letter B, LKE. And for letter C, LKJ. For letter D, BAC. Again, what is the correct sequence of
Letters. 10 seconds starts now.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Don't worry, Moises at Jensa. I know that you won last time on our teleradio quiz. 100 pesos load lang daw. And you need to really tune in on our next broadcast for you to have this reward actually. So again, the answer is letter C, because the series consists of letters in reverse alphabetical order. Therefore, the missing letters are L, K, J. Very good, grade 11 student. So it seems like you really understood or understand our lesson for today. That's why, with that in mind, we can now proceed with our online assessment via Google Forms or this QR code in your screen. Okay? So it says that scan me, because you can really scan it right away or right now so that you can have the link for our Google Forms. But if you do not have a scanner, you can simply type this link to your browser, https forms.gle, and then the code given by Google. Okay, why do we have this? This is very important because this will also serve as your attendance for today's discussion. Again, kindly scan the QR code or type the link provided on your browser now, because I will be waiting for your responses. And if you're done providing the needed information and the takeaway, please have a screenshot of it and send it to your RWS teacher. Okay? So now for your assignment, search for an article or research study about the effect of online learning in the mental health of the student and answer the following question, or the students, and answer the following question. We only have here 5 questions. Number 1, where was the writing published? For number 2, what is the writer's main purpose? For number 3, what is he basically trying to prove? For number 4, what kind of evidence does the writer give to back up her statement or his statement? Does the author give or show some articles, books, or research studies to support those statements? And for number 5, what conclusions does the writer reach, or what conclusions does the writer reach? Okay, do not forget to submit your assignment to our respective Google Classroom or as instructed by your respective reading and writing skills teacher. Okay? And that is another quest filled with new learnings and fun. Tune in for our next episode where another adventure awaits here on I Learn, innovative ways to learn reading and writing skills. Always remember, reading will never be boring if we will create meaningful writings. And again, for more fun and exciting learning, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share Teleradio Marcelo on Facebook and on YouTube. Here you can watch the lessons that you missed so that you can learn anytime and anywhere with Teleradio Marcelo, ang telearalan ng bawat Maluleño.
I learn.
I learn.
I learn.
I learn. I learned.
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 I learned.